Hey guys, welcome back to another video build tutorial within N8N. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step how you can build this customer support email agent and input it into your business today to start improving that customer experience. So the situation that's going to happen is we have received an email to our support email. A customer has said my tracking says delivered, but it didn't arrive. So what we're going to do is this system is going to classify whether that email was customer support or other. And then if it is classified as customer support, our support agent is then going to access the company database, basically with all their policies, every single Q&A, and then it is going to form an email to respond to the customer in a timely manner, answering their question or helping them with their problems, and then notifying us that it sent this email and logging it into a Google Sheet for future reference. That way we can see what problems we're having in our business and improve it. Let's go ahead and hit execute workflow. You can see our text classifier is going to automatically classify that as customer support, answer the question by our knowledge base, and then in our Discord, we're going to have to either approve or deny the email draft that our system came up with. So we can see here, hi Alyssa, I'm sorry to hear that your package hasn't arrived despite being marked as delivered. Please check your parcel locker with neighbors or any common delivery spot to see if it might be there. If it's still missing after 24 hours, please let us know so we can assist you with a replacement or a refund. Thank you for understanding, and we're here to help. Best regard, Northwind Outfitter Support. This isn't a real company. I just made a mock e-commerce store for the sake of the demo. So as the head of support, I'm going to approve that. That directly aligns with our policy. So once it's approved, what's going to happen, it's going to continue on with the workflow. It will send that email. It then will log our issue into let's see here, in our Google Sheet. So it had the problem that the customer faced, the date that it happened, if we were able to solve it right away, which in this case we weren't, because we didn't obviously offer them a refund or replacement just yet. And then the reason why we're logging the problem that the customer had was because we want to see in our business, hey, what are some of the common issues we're running into in our support inbox? That way we can make our business better. So that is the demo. And then as always, following the demo, I will walk through step by step how you guys can build this on your own and have this in your business starting today. All right, guys, as promised, we are going to be doing the step-by-step build of the system, a system that you can sell today to businesses or even implement in your own business, and also just gain the knowledge on how to work around N8N, use some of the nodes, prompt, and build an agentic system. As always, we need to start our workflow with what's called a trigger, and we are going to be using the Gmail trigger. Now, this one's going to be a little tricky, and I'll explain here in a second why I already kept the one from the demo. I just don't want to go through the trouble of sending the email, pinning the email. But the way you guys are going to have to do it is, one, as always, you're going to have to connect your Gmail or your Google credential with N8N. Now, I always recommend this. N8N is very, very good at this. You're just going to click on the pencil, or whenever it says create credential, all you have to do is go to Open Docs and just follow exactly what they tell you to do. Once you go ahead and do that, come back to the video and we will get started, but just make sure that you have your credentials set up. Now that you have your credentials set up, you can, for the purposes of the demo, if you don't have a support email already set up for your business, or if you're just like a freelancer, just use your own email, and then you'll just need to use a second email address to send like a mock customer support style email. Like in this one, I just sent, hey, my tracking says delivered, but it didn't arrive, from just a secondary email, just to simulate like it was a customer support email coming to our customer support email. So once I did that, I just went ahead and pinned it. So you just need to click fetch test event, send the email, it'll capture the customer support email, and then just pin it, and then we can continue on with the build. All right, the next thing that we're going to need to do is the set node. And the reason why we're going to do the set node is just to kind of clean up this mess. We don't need all this stuff to come through. We only want specific things. And if we look through what has come through as the output from our Gmail trigger, you have the ID, snippet, the MIME type, history ID, things like that, things that we just don't need. So obviously the most important thing is who it came from. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put from, and then just map it over. It will be the email that it came from. The next thing that we're going to need to do is go to snippet. This is the email that came through, so the content of the email. And then the next thing that we're going to bring over is the subject line. So if we go ahead and click execute step, from that mess over there, we now have brought over the three important things that we needed from our Gmail trigger. Now, if you remember in the demo, we need to actually classify this, because not every single email that comes to our support email is going to be a real customer support matter. It could be spam, it could be some sort of marketing. We just want to make sure that we're only responding to and running through our customer support emails. So N8N has this node that's called text classifier. So if you go over here and type text, we're going to go ahead and click text classifier, And then the text to classify is going to be this stuff over here, the stuff that we brought over from our Gmail trigger. Now, to be able to configure this text classifier node, we're just going to add 2 categories. If you remember from the demo, we had our support category, and then it only has 2 P's. Then we had our other category. Now for the description, I just have all this stuff mapped out from the demo. I didn't feel like typing it out and saving some videos. I'm going to include this in the description below. That way you guys have access to everything. So for the support description, you guys want to just pause it and read it or take a screenshot, go ahead. Basically, it just tells the text classifier, hey, this is the criteria for it to be considered a support email. And then we're going to go in and copy the tool or the description for the other. So anything that basically isn't support is then going to go down this path. Okay. And then for the text to classify, we're just going to drag everything in. So we will go, we'll do the from. Actually, we don't need to do from just because that doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the snippet. So we'll just drag over the snippet, and it's then going to classify this text right here based on the rules that we gave it or the criteria for each category of text. Okay. And then as always, you need to pick a brain. So we're going to go ahead down here, and instead of GBT 4.1 mini, I'm going to go with 4.0 mini. The reason why I'm going to go with 4.0 mini is I've noticed that 4.0 is better when it comes to like understanding words and like human, I guess, language and conversational. It's very good with emulating that of a human, if that makes sense. So we're going to change it from 4.1 mini to 4.0 mini. All right, so now we have our Gmail trigger set up with our demo customer support email. We have our edit fields because we only want to make sure we grab the important stuff. Now we need to test out to see if our text classifier actually works with the descriptions that we gave it and the support email that we fed into it. So obviously this email should go down the support path. So we go ahead and click execute step. We come out, it did work, it did go down the support path. You always want to make sure you're checking one step at a time. That way you don't build the whole thing out and realize you have an error back at the first or second node and you have to rechange everything in your system. Next step is we are going to be adding our AI agent. So just type AI, the sidebar, click AI agent, and then the first thing we do is we remove this to define below because we don't have a chat trigger set up. And then we also want to add a system message. Remember, this is basically the persona that you give it, and then these are the set of rules and tasks that you give it as well. First thing we're going to do is add a brain, and since this one's going to be copywriting an email for us to respond to the customer, again, I'm going to change this to GBT 4.0 mini here because it is going to be writing in sort of a human manner. I want it to have that 4.0 model. Next thing we're going to be doing is adding a tool, and this is going to be the Supabase Vector Store. Reason why we're going to be using a Supabase Vector Store, if you watched my first video that I did on RAG agents, we need this agent to be able to have access to every single company policy, rule, pricing. Basically, any answer or any question that can be answered will be stored in the Supabase. That way it can accurately answer and help out these customers when they have either problems or they need questions answered. This will be able to access the entire knowledge base and only respond with 100% accurate information. So the first thing, just for your Supabase Vector Store, just go ahead and click in embeddings model. So we're just going to do OpenAI, and once again, you should already have an OpenAI account set up. If not, I'm just going to tell you the same thing I always say: click the pencil, go to OpenDocs, then set up an OpenAI account. And then also with Supabase, same thing. You just need to go into here, click the pencil, OpenDocs. Supabase can be a little tricky to set up, so if you're having a hard time configuring it, not just with setting up your credential and everything, I did make a video. It was my first video. It was how to build a RAG agent. I go into great depth on exactly how to set up a table, a credential, and even load in your knowledge base or your database into your Supabase Vector Store. So go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that in the description, and then come back to this video after and you'll be able to set this up no problem, and you'll actually already have it set up. If not, you want to pause the video and you think you can figure it out on your own, go ahead and do that. But this is the most important step of this build. It's having a Supabase Vector Store set up. All right, now that your Supabase Vector Store is set up, the first thing we're going to have to do is tell our agent who it is and what it is supposed to do. So I just did a very simple user or system message. You are a highly intelligent, policy compliant customer support agent for the e-commerce store Northwind Outfitters. And then now we need to give it its user prompt, which is basically the set of tasks that we give it, the rules, everything like that. I know I told you guys you're gonna have access to all these prompts and everything, but just to give you some time to pause it and just type it in yourself. You want to get used to how typing out a prompt should feel, and that way you're not just copying and pasting it. Might help your brain retain a little bit. I did add a little bit to the system prompt. I gave it a little bit of a behavior, since this is going to be like a conversational agent. It needs to know basically how it should, the tone that it should be responding in, and its behavior and how it should be acting to the customers, not just the role that it plays. And then for the user prompt for our support agent, we are going to just tell it, hey, you're going to receive a customer support email. These are the steps that you must follow. You must research the company knowledge base using your tool Access, which is the Supabase vector store that we gave it access to. I will be showing you the mock database that I made for this e-commerce store. I just had ChatGPT do it for me. I can include that as well. That way you guys can play around with it. And then collect only information that directly answers the customer's request. If no relevant information exists, do not guess or make assumption. This is very important to make sure it does not do that. State politely that a teammate will follow up if it's not able to solve the problem. Draft a reply email that is friendly, polite, professional, clear, and concise, only as long as needed to fully answer the request, based strictly on information confirmed in the knowledge base. And we need to give it context on what it's responding to. So we'll do from. We'll drag over the from email. We'll just give a space there. And then the subject of the customer's email or request will be right there. And then the snippet or the body of the email. That way it can base its response off of the context from what the customer's asking. And then the last thing we're going to do for our agent itself is we are going to require a specific format. We're going to go to output parser, and then we're going to do structured output. This is for later down in the system, but we're just going to take care of this now. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead, clear this out, and I will also be including this in this whole sheet description. We're going to paste the specific output that we're going to require the agent to output. We're going to want it to output the subject that it came up with, the body that it came up with, the customer's email that we're going to respond to, and their request. Basically, not the body of their email, but the exact problem that they were having, what they wanted accomplished. I'm going to go ahead and click the paintbrush here to clean it up. Click save. And then now what we need to do is, one, choose our table name. The table name that I created for this was mock. And then we're going to set the limit to 6. We'll go ahead and do re-rank results, re-ranker Cohere. Once again, just go ahead and create a credential for Cohere. Super easy. Pencil, open docs. That'll tell you everything you need to do. Now, what a re-ranker does, I know I covered this in my RAG agent video, but I'll go very quick on this. It basically takes the results that the Supabase vector store gets. So in this case, it's going to grab the 6 most relevant chunks from our Supabase vector store. And this re-ranker is then going to score the top 3 and feed the top 3 in priority based on how relevant it scored out of the 6 to our agent to then base its answer off of. Just makes our agents a little bit more intelligent. And I mean, obviously we can make them smarter and perform better. Then we're going to do whatever we can, especially in a situation like this where customer support is very, very important. All right, and then I just gave the tool description just so our agent knows what exactly this tool is. Hey, this is the knowledge base for the e-com store. You will use this to answer any customer questions or help, say that real quick, or help them solve their problems. Very simple. That way the agent at least knows what it is that it's doing with its tool. Now, I just wanted to show you guys real quick the knowledge base that I'm using for this. All I did was say, hey, ChatGPT, make me a mock company database knowledge base that contains everything that a real e-commerce store knowledge base would contain for customer support problems. And it literally just typed this up for me, no problem at all. And I just went ahead and saved it. Also, guys, real quick, I just want to take a second. If at any point you guys are thinking, man, I'd love to have something like this in my business, or there's another process in your business that you were like, man, I wish I could have this automated, I have my website and my email linked down in the description. Go ahead, check us out, fill out an inquiry. We can jump on a call and see how we can help your business with AI. All right, moving on. So now we have our Supabase vector store set up. Hopefully you either checked out my last video or paused the video and took the time to set it up. And now we have our agent prompted with the system prompt. We have the user prompt with all the tasks and everything mapped over. We've required a specific output. That way we can use just this stuff later down the line. I'll show you exactly why we did it this way. The next thing I'm going to do real quick is just go over Supabase very briefly real quick and explain how I even got this knowledge base into my Supabase vector store. All right, so all I did was take this document. I created a file called mock ecom in my Google Drive. All I did was move this over to mock. See down here. It's already in there. I moved it over to mock ecom. I built a simple workflow that watches for a new document created in my mock ecom, and then we're going to download it. And then by this point, hopefully you guys have already set up your Supabase vector store. And then all we're going to do is chunk it and upload it to the Supabase vector table that we created. See here, the table name was mock, the query name was match dot or underscore table name, which in this case was mock. We added the OpenAI embeddings model, the default data loader. It chunks it and adds it to our Supabase, and just like that, go back to our agent. We make sure that it has access to the mock table, and now it has access to this entire database as its knowledge base. Hopefully that quick run through made sense to you guys. If you didn't watch the RAG video, it's probably not going to, so I highly recommend checking that out first. But maybe you guys caught on quick and it did, and if it did, we're going to go ahead and move on with the video. As we know, AI is moving quickly. It's getting smarter, it's getting faster, more efficient. It's able to do more things than we ever could have imagined, but it's not quite perfect yet. And when you have that human-to-human interaction that we're having here, I mean, this is literally responding as if it was a human customer support agent. We need to make sure we have some sort of human overlook or human intervention available to us. That way we make sure that what the agent is planning on responding to and helping this customer's problem is accurate, because the customer experience is everything for a business. I mean, it directly correlates with word of mouth, that snowballs into, positive reviews. Everything is all about the customer experience. So N8N has this amazing feature called Human in the Loop, and what it does is it waits for approval before continuing the system or the workflow. And if you look here at our structured output, we made sure to output the draft of the email. We made sure not to have the agent send the email yet, because we, as the head of support, that's who I'm acting as right now, we want to be able to review the answer to the customer's question or problem before we send it out. So go ahead and press the plus here, Human in the Loop, and whatever channel that you and your team use to communicate or whatever you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and use Discord. This is how me and my team communicate. And I'm going to go ahead and set the server as input group, and then channel is going to be support emails. Like I said, you're going to have to set up credentials for pretty much everything you do in N8N, so just the open docs there. Go ahead and set up whatever you'd like to do. And then the message that we're going to be using, I'll have here in a second. All right, so this is the message that I'm going to be sending to my team is, hey guys, go ahead and approve. We'll do or deny this support email, and we're going to input the customer email, the agent's response, so the subject and the body. But first we have to make sure we can map this out. So we're going to go ahead and click execute previous nodes just to make sure that this step of our workflow works. What it should do is answer the question with the knowledge base, draft the email, and then output it here. And we'll just have to map it in the message. All right, so if you look here, it came through. We generated our response, our subject line, and everything that we wanted to from the structured output from our agent came through. All I had to do was go ahead and drag this stuff over into the message, and if you look at the output, it output to us in Discord the customer email, the subject line that the agent came up with, and the body of the email that the agent came up with. One important step of our if you are using Discord is the operation, is you want to make sure you do send and wait for response. And then another thing you're going to want to do is response type is approval, add option, and then you want to go down here and do approve and disapprove, because we want the option to decline it if we don't like it. Okay. So now that we know our agent does exactly what it's supposed to do, as always, we're just going to go ahead and pin it. That way we don't have to continue to waste tokens or anything like that. Now we need to make sure that our Discord approve or disapprove our human in the loop step works. We're just going to go ahead and click execute step. I'm going to go over to my Discord channel. If you see there, we have the approve or disapprove. We've read through it. We like it. We're going to go ahead and click approve, visit site, go back to our N8N, and it's going to output approve true. Perfect. Now what do we do when it's true? So the first thing we're going to want to do is, we know we have two options. We have whether we approve it or we disapprove it. So there's two routes that this can go down. So the first thing we're going to do is go router, switch, route items depending on defined expression or rules. And very easily, we're going to go ahead and click add routing rule. And this is what's called a boolean. So if it has a check mark, you just want to change this down to boolean. And we're going to go ahead and do is true. If you drag this over, we're going to go ahead and do expression. We're going to go ahead and drag over approved. And then we're going to do this down here, boolean to is false, changes to expression, and then drag over approved. That way it will route on basically, hey, did we approve or did we deny the email that the agent came up with? So as always, we're going to test it. This should go down the true route. Beautiful. It went down the true route. So now that we have looked over the email that our agent has drafted to answer/help our customer's issue, we now need to be able to send it to them. So we're going to go ahead and do Gmail, send a message. And if you remember, I told you I was going to explain why we structured the output like this. Well, if you can see, all we're going to have to do is go down to our AI agent node, email subject, drag into subject. 2 is going to be the customer email, and then the body is going to be the email body, and then email type is text. Now we have a perfectly ready to go email to the correct email. The subject line that the agent generated and the email body automatically after we approved and decided that that email was fit to be sent. All right, as always, we just want to make sure that this is going to work, test every step. So if we go ahead and click execute step, label is sent. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and just pin that, and we will also pin this. The next node we're going to add is an OpenAI node. I will explain here in a second. We're going to do message a model, and I will explain here in a second exactly what we're doing. Let me just go ahead and add in the prompts, and then we'll talk about exactly why I added this node. All right, so the whole purpose of this LLM is going to be helping us log the problems that our customers are having for future reference. Because if you think about it, if you're getting a lot of emails to your customer support and their issues, that is a perfect way to find out how you can directly improve your business. If you're getting a lot of customers that are saying, hey, it's saying that I'm delivered, but my package isn't here yet, like this email, then you know that something is happening in your logistics, whether it's your tracking system is off, or your drivers just aren't delivering it on time or to the right place. And that is a direct way to know, hey, what can I impact or what business change can I do that will impact my customer experience or help my business grow and scale today. So we always want to be logging these issues that we're having in our business for future improvements. So I'll show you the user prompt, or excuse me, the system prompt. Simple, just, hey, you're the helpful customer assistant for the e-commerce store. And then for the user prompt, I just went ahead and say, hey, analyze the email received by the customer and then the email that we responded with and output this into this field. So we want it to output the problem. So basically the problem the customer had, the solution, how we told them to fix it, and then if we were able to solve it or not based on the email that we sent to them. Okay, so what we have to do just to finish this off is give it some context. So, hey, this is the email that we received here, so their request, and then this is the email that we sent. And if we go ahead and execute step, it'll output the 3 fields that we wanted it to. So you can see problem. They had a tracking issue with delivery status. The solution is a teammate will follow up shortly to help them resolve the issue, because we couldn't do anything yet because our policy is 24 hours. And then we can start talking about refunds and stuff. So we were not able to solve it yet, but a teammate will be notified that we need to follow up with them. And then the next thing, just to be able to log that stuff, we're going to go ahead and go over to Sheets. And then we're going to go to append or update row in Sheet. And then I just created a Google Sheet called Support Agent Logs, and then just Sheet 1. Then the columns mapped out. So we're going to go ahead and do a JSON expression for the date. So we're going to go ahead and do JSON, or excuse me, we're going to go now dot format, and there. We're going to go double curly bracket, $, now. Then we're going to go dot format and year, month, day. So now it will log the date. You just want to make sure that you're on your correct time zones. Just go over here to settings, and I'm on America Phoenix. So that is perfect. And then we just got to map out the other fields for the problem, and then were we able to solve it. And if we go ahead and execute step, we can see column to match parameters on. No problem. We're just going to go to append row because we're not updating row, we're creating a new log. So we're going to go ahead and click append row, execute step. Perfect. We go over to our support agent logs. There it is, tracking issue with delivery status. Were we able to solve? No. So now we can see in our logs, hey, we're having a lot of issues with tracking. People saying that their package is there, but it's not actually there. How do we fix this? So we finished the side where we actually approved the email. We like the email that the agent came up with. We feel like it answered it perfectly, exactly correlates with our company policies. But what happens if we deny that email? What happens if we look over the agent's email and we decide, hey, that's not how we would respond, or that information is not totally correct? I'm going to show you guys how to do that step by step. So since we communicate in Discord, what we're going to do is go Discord. We're going to go ahead and send a message to that same support channel once it's denied. Just pick the same channel and server. I'm just going to go there and support emails, and then I'll have the message here in a second. All right, so this is the message that we're going to send after it has been denied. Since you denied the email, I just created a draft in your Gmail so you can make the necessary changes. Make sure to send it to this email once you have made the changes. So we're going to go ahead and send that over to our Discord. We're going to make sure that it worked over here. Since you denied the email, this would be if we denied it, obviously. I'm going to run through an actual denial after this. And we just want to make sure that we were able to send that message over to our Discord. So now that we've made sure that our Discord message has been sent after the denial has come through, we're then going to, if you see here in the message, we said that we created a draft in their Gmail to make the necessary changes. So all we have to do is go Gmail. And then if you look down here to create a draft, we're then going to do subject. Remember, we're going to create the draft of the email that the agent came up with, but this way we can have a human edit it prior to them sending it out to the customer. So we're going to go ahead and map that out. But the reason why it's going to be undefined yet is because we didn't actually have any information go down this denial route. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So what we'll do is we'll unpin our agent. And then we'll unpin this. We'll unpin our router, unpin everything following that. That way we can have it go down the denial route just for test purposes. All right, so we're going to click on our Discord here and click execute step. That way our agent can redraft the email and we can get the human in the loop message to our Discord. All right, now that we got the human in the loop to our Discord, we're going to click decline. Go back to our N8N workflow and you can see it is now going to go down the approved false route. Now that it's been disapproved, we're going to resend that, hey, since it's been denied message, we created a draft into Gmail for you to make the changes. Here's the email that you need to send it to. So we'll go back in and then we'll actually create that draft. All right, so the draft has been created. If we go over to our Gmail, we go over to drafts, you can see that it did create the draft that the agent came up with, but now we can edit. So let's say instead of saying thank you for your understanding, we'll say a team member. Let's see here. Oops. Will reach out shortly. If that's the change that we wanted to make, we can make any changes possible. If we see that this information is incorrect, we then can update it with the correct information. But that is the power of the human in the loop. Now, what we also want to do is we still want to make sure that we log these problems into our Google Sheet, but it wouldn't have logged it if it went down the approved path, or excuse me, the denied path, because we didn't have this set up yet. So we're just going to go ahead, duplicate these two nodes, go back in, make sure that this stuff is mapped out, which it is. And then we're going to go ahead and click execute step and make sure that it logs it still, even if it gets denied. Bang. There we go. All right, guys. That's it. You guys have now built a fully functional customer support agent within N8N. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're able to implement this into your business or another business and either help a business improve their customer experience or help your own business improve its customer experience. If you guys have any questions or any builds you want me to do in N8N, please leave a comment and a like down below. It helps me out make this stuff for you guys and teach you guys how to use N8N to solve real business problems. Yeah, I'm going to leave everything in the description. You guys will have access to the template, to all the prompts and everything like that I used. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.